It is often said these days that creativity in Hollywood is dead, that they're doing nothing but recycling old comic books and old TV shows and old whatever. My reaction to that kind of statement is, yeah, I know what you mean. And I certainly am not here to defend Hollywood practice, but not so fast. All of the Greek classics that we venerate today were based on old stories that their audiences knew. The same thing is true for the great works of Shakespeare, Corneille, Racine, etc. In dramatic storytelling, which is my focus, it's always been the case that the old furnishes the stock upon which you graft the new. If you created a film, a play, whatever, that was genuinely new, how could people understand it? The cell phone and DVDs and so far the internet are technological innovations. Their cultural impacts, if we define culture as being that which affects attitudes and behavior, the cultural impact of the iPhone and other cell phones is an extension of the existing technology of the old landline telephone, which is people can talk to one another. They can do it more, and so much of the effect of new technology is to enable people to do more, to do it cheaper, to do it faster, to do it more conveniently, but the experience is not necessarily significantly different. Being on a cell phone, being on a landline are the same experience. Technology is, and I think always has been, the great democratizer. Technology is constantly in search of culture, or art if you wish, but artists don't look to technology. Artists adopt a new technology when it becomes available. If you're creating a new technology, that's easy. If you're consciously trying to create a new cultural medium or a new cultural form, that's really difficult. I think it's axiomatic that someone who follows their own interior urging, their own vision, whatever you want to call it, is more likely in the field of art to produce something, to go back to where we started, that's innovative, that's new, than somebody who's hired to do something for somebody else. My biggest fear about this art form is that I'm more concerned about its crisis than I am about the crisis in the business. The business, people will always find ways to make money. They may lose a lot of money, or some people may lose a lot of money. Other people will find ways to make a lot of money. But if you consider yourself an artist, which by definition means you want to create something innovative, something that in some ways is new, but the odds against you ever being able to feed yourself, pursuing that, and the temptations of being paid very handsomely to follow directions of somebody else who wants you to create this other thing, this creates a terrible dilemma for the artist. There are people, many people, especially intellectuals in France, who complain about American cultural hegemony and they seem to have the idea that people in Hollywood or New York sit down and say, how can we control the way the world thinks and feels? That's a profound misunderstanding of capitalism. That may be the effect, that is to say, to have a great influence on how people think and feel. But the object of what people in Hollywood or New York or wherever who are sending their products out to the world, their objective is to make money. And they will do whatever makes that potential the greatest. Power, as I'm using the term, is the ability to produce change or to prevent change. The Chinese government only allows 20 or so films from the entire world to be legally distributed in China. The students I taught there knew every recent American film that's come out because, of course, of the pirating of films and the fact that you can buy a film for under $1 on any street corner in China. So the government's attempt to control, to prevent change, is an abysmal failure. That is, so far hasn't stopped them because they act like all governments do. They want to control change at the rate they want to allow it. The ability to produce change, well, there are many ways in which you could look at the effect of American motion pictures, American clothing, American and British music, etc., and say, in terms of people's attitudes and in terms of their behavior, these cultural products have had enormous power over people around the world in every culture.